There's no guidance there. You can do whatever the fuck you want with your packaging, really, for the most part. That's why we see these protein cookies that say, 10 grams of protein, but then
for half a fucking cookie.
Right, look at the fine print.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Half a cookie. So you're getting 10 grams of protein for like 210 calories. So to get that full protein that they're advertising, because the protein that they're advertising is for the entire cookie. So this is where it gets deceiving, because the entire cookie. But then if you look at the label, they show
2 servings,
half a cookie, 2 servings. So it's very deceiving. It's very deceiving.
Yeah.
The supplement industry is notoriously scummy.
I think a good way to see if something is a good amount of protein is if you add a 0 to the protein, right? Let's say it says 10 grams of protein, you add a 0, it's 100, right? But then you look at the calories. If the calories are like 250, it's not a good source of protein. Welcome to Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast.
Are you ready to cut the crap with your diet and exercise, get strong as fuck, and build a healthy relationship with food? Then you've come to the right place.
Let's go. If you'd like to support us in the podcast, join our Patreon, where you get exclusive content, which consists of monthly workouts you can do at home or at the gym, monthly challenges that are either strength, habit, or mindset based, and access to over 100 plus low-calorie, high-protein, family-friendly meals. These are all designed by a professional chef who is certified in nutrition. These recipes are already in MyFitnessPal for easy fucking tracking. New recipes are also added each week.
We believe that fitness is for everyone, so this is our way of getting you started on your health and fitness journey at a price most everyone can afford. So what the fuck are you waiting for? We'll see you in the Patreon. Beth, how are you?
What's up, Matt? I am pretty good, actually.
Pretty good?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
I'm happy to hear that.
Working on my speech for the Real Coaches Summit, which has been fun, but also terrifying. I have to come up with a title, and that's where I'm struggling.
Just drop an F-bomb in there somewhere, and then that's you.
Okay, so do you want to hear? You guys can hear what I have thus far, and this is where I think it's going to be. Okay, so the power of authenticity and boundaries, essential tools for building a brand, growing a community, and starting a fucking movement.
Ooh, don't overthink it. That's good.
Do you like that?
Fuck yeah. That's you. That's what we do. That's our entire thing. Your thing, that's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to talk about basically where it came from, what I'm doing now, and all the questions that we get from coaches, like, where do I start? What do I do? You know, in a nutshell, be yourself, right? But how do you teach that?
Sure.
So yeah, cool. That's what I've been doing.
All right. Title has been nailed down.
Yeah, I think so. there was like 4 other ones just like that, but that was the one that I kind of came to. But you're right. I don't need to overthink it anymore, huh?
I mean, I like that one. If you want to run the other ones by me and our listeners,
they kind of sound like that, like the first one before, the power of authenticity and boundaries, essential tools for building a brand, growing a community, and starting a movement without the fucking in it. Iris actually helped me with these, which thank God. And also my speaker coach that I met with yesterday. We're doing a mind map, which is pretty cool. So in the middle is like a circle, and that's where your title goes. And then you have these arrows to specific subjects of your talk. So like the one circle will be an intro, and then you write everything like it's like a big spider web.
Spider web, yeah.
Yeah. Then you write a bunch of stuff like that you're going to talk about in your intro that can be in your slides, and then you have to have a transition to the second talking point. And then you have another little circle with what that talking point is going to be with a bunch of other stuff with that. So it's quite interesting. And when you mind map it out and write it out, it kind of comes together better.
For sure. You get your cohesive thoughts.
Yeah.
What I just heard there, so you hired a coach for helping you write your speech and organize.
Yeah. Did I not tell you?
No, but that's awesome that you're hiring a coach to help you with something.
Yeah. I mean, I've never done this before, ever. Yeah. So why would I go up there not knowing what the fuck to do? And I know what I want to say. I just don't know how to say it. I've never done this before. And so what's cool is with this, she'll help me create slides and things like that, so I can reuse it over and over again, which is pretty awesome.
For future talks, and because I know you want to get into a lot more public speaking. So
who knows? I mean, I don't know if I really want to get into it, but if I get asked.
Well, if you're going to come Good Morning America, you got to be ready, right? So
but yeah, hiring a coach is I'm telling you guys, vital for all different parts of your life. And I never would have actually thought about that unless I was one myself.
For sure. Once you start investing in yourself, you understand the value in having a mentor or a coach to guide you. Like our listeners, right? Maybe they want to lose fat, but they don't know how, right? Great example of why they should be hiring a coach. The coach helps you put it all together and make sense of it and uncomplicate it for sure. I love that. That's very exciting.
Yeah. So what's up with you? How are you?
I'm good. Just cruising along. We just started up a new round of group coaching for mindful eating for weight loss tonight. And oh my God, I'm really excited for this group because the energy that they brought to the first call last night was like unparalleled up to this point. I love
that. Yeah.
A little bit of a smaller group, but I'm happy with that because it's just more intimate that way.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. We get over the next 12 weeks, we're going to be learning how to become a mindful eater. And I think it's great because these are people that are trying to break up with diets, right? Every year they go through the holiday weekend and everything like that. So they're like, this hasn't been working for me in the past. Every year I mindlessly eat, I overeat through October through the new year, and I gain 20 pounds, and they don't want to do it anymore. So they're going to be doing it in a way that's healthy and sustainable. And I'm excited for that.
Nice. You just said this goes through the holidays, right?
It does go through the holidays. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. All the major holidays are covered. Second or third week of January is when it'll be up. So those New Year's resolutions, they're going to be crushing it with mindful eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Other than that, just cruising. I went on a run today, Beth. I told you I was going to go on one, I think on Monday, but I didn't get to. So I went on a run today. I did a 1.5 mile jog, like just really slow paced schedule, and I feel great. So I'll see how I recover, of course, first and foremost, but I'm happy. Ankle's feeling great.
Good.
And it's very exciting. It was much needed to take that downtime that I was doing and just let my body heal.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. If you have an injury, heal. Imagine. Take some rest.
Yeah. All right. So let's get right into it today because this is going to be an action-packed episode. We want to talk about protein, all things protein. And I'm thinking like this is going to be the protein Bible of this episode.
Yeah. I mean, you guys ask us so many questions about protein. So I think this is an important episode for you just to hear why it's important and how you can get more in.
Exactly.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, for sure. So we'll talk about kind of why protein is important, give you some ideas for different protein options and sources, talk about some myths of protein. We love talking about myths, and we'll kind of just see where the conversation goes. So, So first and foremost, protein it's a macronutrient, right? So we've got three macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And it's a macronutrient that's made up of amino acids. So amino acids are vitally important for building and repairing tissue in our body. So growing muscle, maintaining muscle, making enzymes, management of our hormones and other chemicals in our body. So it's super important. It's literally the
magic macronutrient, I call it.
For sure. Magic for a lot of fucking reasons, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of this episode, y'all are like, oh my God, I love protein and I'm just going to be protein left and fucking right. So anybody that listens.
And protein is also 4 calories per gram. So I hear a lot, how do I not go over my calories? I'm always going over my calories. Protein is probably not your problem. It's higher.
Protein is not the problem. Nobody's overeating protein.
No.
Unless you're on the carnivore diet or something like that. But it's a great point there, Beth. And it's a really good starting point is there's 4 calories for every 1 gram of protein, just the same as carbohydrates. So they have that in common. You're probably overeating the carbohydrates and the fats. That's usually what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So,
or you're eating like things like Kodiak cake pancakes that have only 10 grams of protein or less in them. And you're not having a whole food protein source, so think like protein is like anything with eyes, like all fish, all meat.
All animal proteins are going to be
animal proteins and dairy, yogurt, cottage cheese, things like that. Fish, which is, I guess, part of the meat, but not really. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then you have your vegetarian protein, like soybeans, tofu, seitan, quinoa. And do you want to talk about the difference between animal and vegetable protein?
Yes,
because there is a little bit of a difference. So,
So are we talking about the difference in terms of the amino acid profile then?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about protein sources, it's complete protein or an incomplete protein. What a complete protein means, it has all of the amino acids that are needed for muscle protein synthesis and for building and maintaining body tissue. So like we already said, all animal protein is a complete protein. So you don't need to worry about making sure that it's complete because it fucking is. Plant-based, a lot of plant options are not complete protein sources. That means they are lacking the necessary amino acids in one way or another to form that complete amino acid profile for muscle protein synthesis, building muscle, maintaining muscle, and body tissue. That doesn't mean that plant-based is bad or inferior. You have to be a little bit more strategic with it.
Yeah.
Soy products are going to be a complete protein for plant-based. Beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, and things like that aren't necessarily. So we combine those foods, right? That's the importance of eating a varied diet and a balanced diet is eating for lots of different plants in there. And if you're doing that, eating a varied diet with plants, you're going to make up that complete amino acid profile in one way or another.
It's definitely harder for a vegetarian vegan to get their protein than it is someone that eats meat. For sure. So you're definitely going to have to work a little bit harder, but it's okay because you can do hard things. We just have to plan a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually got a couple of examples of how you can make a complete amino acid profile.
Oh, there you go, Matt.
So what you could do is grains and legumes. Okay. So grains are a great source of protein for plant-based as well. And that's what you and I love in terms of like sandwiches, right? Is going with those whole grain breads.
Yeah.
Our sandwiches have like 30 to 40 grams of protein in them when we make them. I just had one before this call.
Like bread has, I think my bread has like 5 grams of protein per slice.
Yeah. Like if you go with that Dave's Killer bread or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're getting the fiber and some awesome micronutrients in there as well.
Yep.
So rice and beans, classic example. That's going to have the complete amino acid profile. You eat one of those things on their own, not a complete amino acid profile, but combine those things and you do have a complete profile. We could even do some like peanut butter on whole grain bread, right? So a little sandwich, of course, peanut butter, you and I will both agree with this. Peanut butter should not be used as a protein source.
It's a fat source. But
a fat source.
If you're struggling, if you're a vegan struggling, then you would be using your peanut butter as your fat source for sure.
Yeah. I don't want to, if your goal is fat loss, guys, I do not want you eating protein or a peanut butter. As
right.
Source, okay. It's very calorically dense.
Very.
You will eat on it. Little tablespoon doesn't go a long way. Okay. And not protein.
Yeah.
But you make a little peanut butter sandwich and you'll be good to go there. So then we have whole grains with nuts and seeds. So you mentioned quinoa already. So that's actually a complete protein on its own, which is great. But you can pair that with almonds or pumpkin seeds or something like that too. I just love seeds for plant-based. And even for non-plant-based, people should be eating their fucking seeds anyway.
Yes.
So and then I said like with the soy products, tofu, tempeh, edamame, those are all complete proteins. And I really love edamame. I love edamame as a snack.
Me too.
Dry roasted edamame
those are the best. Yeah. Those little single pack bags of the dry roasted edamame flavors. I think those are like edamame. How much protein are in that? Like 12 to 15 grams of protein for a serving, I believe. It's quite substantial. Right.
And fiber too. So then you're getting the great fiber with that too. So plant-based or not, whatever your diet preferences are, definitely incorporate some edamame into your diet. Okay, so is there anything else we want to talk about with animal versus? I guess we didn't really list. What are some of your favorite animal-based protein sources? Let's start there.
Chicken.
I love chicken.
It's very versatile. And here's the thing, guys, you don't have to eat just baked salt and peppered chicken. Season that shit. There's so many different ways to cook your chicken. Let's see. That is my top one. What is my next? I'd say salmon, which is more of a fish. I do like steak, but I only have that minimally, really.
Yeah, that's one of the ones, if you're incorporating it frequently, you want to go with a leaner cut of
turkey burger is always a go-to.
I love turkey burger.
Rotisserie chicken, which is chicken, but that's another really source that I use a lot. I'd say chicken and turkey for me is my top. And then I use a lot of Greek yogurt and cottage cheese.
Yeah, those are the staples for myself as well, because they're so versatile. You can do a lot with them. Of course, so you just mentioned dairy, right? Yogurt and things like that. Milk can be a really good protein. Yeah. So if you're going with, don't get the skim milk and all that bullshit. Go with the full fat, or you can go with the lower fat, like the Fairlife, for example. Fairlife milk is great. It's got
those are a staple for me. The Fairlife. I just had cereal this morning with a Fairlife vanilla shake. I mean, 10 grams of protein in the cereal, and then a serving of the Fairlife. No brainer.
Right, it really is. It's so simple.
Bananas and some bloobs. We had that in Ohio.
We did.
That was our breakfast. Yeah.
I finished off the box here the last week when I got back. So yeah.
Nice. It's a good little breakfast.
It is. And then of course eggs. Eggs are great.
Yes. I forgot about eggs. That's another staple, I should say. A lot of egg whites and eggs.
I go through like 2 dozen eggs a week. So yeah, because I usually eat like 2 or 3 a day. So for breakfast. I would agree with you on your protein sources for plant animals there. My favorite for fish, salmon, and tuna for sure. Other than that, I eat a lot of chicken, Greek yogurt as well. I probably eat at least one single serving of Greek yogurt every day. And I put cottage cheese on a lot of things as well, just because it's so easy. It's so fucking easy.
Yeah.
And we touched on kind of the plant-based proteins as well. Beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, tofu, tempeh, edamame, things like that.
Is there a way to drop PDFs in our show notes?
Yeah, I can link to like a PDF.
I was going to say I have a protein PDF I can share, and you guys can print it out for yourself, because you're always asking what kind of protein source. This way you have a list of all like the vegetarian, the fish, the dairy, and the meat protein sources.
Boom. We can put that in the notes for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah. Sweet.
Okay. So let's see. How much protein do I need to eat in a day, Matt? Okay. I'm trying to lose fat. What do you recommend? Okay.
So there are a couple of different ideas on this. First and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and say the RDA, the recommended daily amount, is incredibly low in my opinion. It's literally
it's for survival.
It's for survival, right?
So you don't want to survive.
Basically. You want to fucking thrive, people.
By the way, protein is an essential macronutrient, you guys.
How do you die?
We would die without it. So there you go.
Your body cannot make it on its own. So that's why we got to get it from our diet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah. So for women, the recommended daily value, which of course I will fight to the death that I don't agree with it, it's 46 grams of protein per day. That's insane. It's fucking insane. No wonder why so many women are walking around under muscled and with shit
and craving sugar all day.
Right, because they're not eating enough protein for sure. So essentially, what I recommend for protein intake is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. Right, that's the way you can kind of.
I'd say 0.8 to 1.
0.8 to 1, yeah. 0.8 is like where I'd want to see the minimum size.
Yeah. Especially if you're not used to getting that much protein, start at the minimum, but definitely work your way up for sure.
Yeah. And then if you're more active, your protein intake will want to be higher then as well. So then you'd be going anywhere from that one gram per kilogram of body weight up to like maybe even 2 for some people. If you're doing high intensity exercise, very active, strength training a lot. I don't think most people need that much protein. That's the very high end, but I agree with you. 0.8 to 1, even to 1.2 would be a great start there.
Yep.
Have you ever wanted to start a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money doing what you love. All in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit episodes right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Now, what's really cool is video podcasts are also now available on Spotify. And if you want to be taken seriously on social media, you need to have a video presence. And what better way to do that by connecting with people via your video episodes? With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's all totally free with no catch whatsoever. And ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters here on Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, we are easily releasing new episodes and distributing them to multiple platforms, and it's never been easier. We highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Okay, so we got fat loss. What about for maintenance?
Maintenance, I would keep it the same, honestly. The reason why I would keep... when I take a client from a fat loss phase to maintenance, the protein stays the same. That's how I do it, because it's that important for maintenance. And the reason why it's important for maintenance, lots of reasons. First and foremost, we're doing this for the rest of our life. You're not going to stop strength training when you're hitting your goal and everything like that. But it increases your metabolism. Okay, so we want our metabolism to be firing as hot as possible, and we want it to be as high as possible. So one of the things that we can make sure to do that, make that happen, is by having a high protein diet. And that's because, first and foremost, more muscle you have, the more protein you're going to need. More muscle means you're going to be burning more calories at rest, right? It takes more body or more energy to maintain lean muscle mass, lean body weight than it does body fat. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is going to be. So you got to get strength training and get more protein in for that. But not only that, but protein has a very high thermic effect. We've talked about the thermic effect a lot on this podcast, but what that means, it's the amount of energy that's expended for your body to
digest the protein.
Digest the protein, right? So protein is anywhere from 20 to 35% thermic effect. Carbohydrates, anywhere from 5 to 15%. And then fat is only 0 to 5%. So what that
Matt coming in with the facts today.
I love facts, man. So
with the fucking data, y'all.
Yeah. So let's put that into practical terms. What that means is you can take 100 calories of protein, 100 calories of carbohydrates, and 100 calories of fats. You might think, just 100 calories, right? Well, yes, you're ingesting 100 calories, but your body's going to break that down a lot differently. So of those 100 calories of the protein, your body's going to expend 20 to 35% of that energy to break it down. So really, you're looking at anywhere from like 80 to 70 calories that you just actually kind of ingested. So your body is burning more calories by eating more protein. If you take that same 100 calories of carbohydrates, you're only going to be burning 5 to 15 of those calories for your body's digestive processes. And then for fat, it's only going to be like 5 of those calories are going to be utilized and broken down for breaking down that fat. So that's why it's important. Not only that, but protein is very important for satiety, right?
Oh yeah. Keeping you
full.
That's
going to be important for fat loss and maintenance after the fact. So we want to be hungry, or we don't want to be hungry. So the way we do that is by eating more protein.
That's why it's hard to overeat protein, because it does fill you up fairly quickly.
And if you ever eaten a lot of protein, you might actually feel warm. You might actually get the meat sweats, right?
Yes.
Well, because the thermic effect, that's your body literally heating up to break down that protein. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So the meat sweats, it's a real thing.
Yeah, for real. For real. I had Brazilian barbecue in Florida, and
barbecue will give you the meat sweats out every time, for sure.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk about how to get that protein in.
Okay.
Because that's another thing people struggle with. So if you are tracking calories per se, some of you may not. I'm going to give you 2 different ways you can keep track of your protein. So if you are not tracking calories and you're looking for fat loss, you can do the hand portion method. So thinking a palm of protein at each meal if you're a female, and 2 palms of protein if you're a male. So that is a gauge. If you don't track calories, think of like a deck of cards, a deck or 2. If you are tracking calories, I like to pre-log my protein the day before, figure out how much you need for the day and divide that between how many meals you eat.
I like that.
So let's say you need 130 grams of protein per meal. You have 125 grams per day. That's what I meant. You divide that, let's say that's 25 plus per meal. If you have 3 meals, 2 snacks.
Right.
It's not that hard. It really just takes some planning. You guys are just probably not used to focusing on protein. But once you do, you're going to notice that you're not as hungry. You're not going to crave as much sugar. You're going to be more satisfied. You're probably not going to snack at night as much anymore. That's why we push protein. It's so important. So important. Maintaining muscle. Another thing.
Before we get into maintaining muscle, for sure, because that is very important. Fuck, what was I just going to say? We'll cut this part out. You said something there that I wanted to highlight. It'll come back to me. This is the problem with us not following a script, right?
Fuck scripts.
Fuck scripts.
Fuck.
Okay, well, we'll get into maintaining then the muscle mass part, because as you know, we start breaking down muscle as we age. You're literally beginning with the age of 30. We start
about 3 to 8% per year or something like that.
Yeah. So you think about it at the age of 30, and if you're 50 now, that's compounded quite substantially if you were not doing the things that we recommend. Strength training, eating enough protein. Your body will start breaking that down. It's called sarcopenia. Your body will break down
osteoporosis. It's important for bone health, you guys.
It is. It is. So this is a particularly important for our listeners that are perimenopausal or have gone through menopause, right? That's the significance of protein there, because they definitely need to be building lean muscle mass, because they probably are losing muscle mass if they haven't been strengthening there. We want to maintain that, keep that metabolism up as high as we possibly can. And I thought about what I was going to say just a minute ago in terms of getting protein into the diet. One of the most common things that I do with clients when we look at their dietary log is literally just start doubling the protein intake, right? They're eating 2 eggs for breakfast. Cool. Now you have 4. Or maybe instead of 2 eggs, you have 2 eggs and some egg whites, right? Yep. So the easiest thing you can do is just double the protein serving. Yeah. Instead of 2, like I see people building a plate and it's like 1 to 2 ounces of protein. Like that's not enough. Double that shit. Triple that shit.
And like Matt was saying, like, so use your base protein at a whole food protein source. Don't use Kodiak cake pancakes or high protein oatmeal as your main protein source for your meal. You should have like your main protein source, which is a whole food. Like, let's say you start out with eggs, but you want a carb source with it. Okay, great. We'll add that high protein oatmeal. That's going to add extra protein, and that'll be your carb source as well. So don't start out, be like, I'm going to have my high protein oatmeal and that's it. You're going to be more hungry. That's not enough protein. So really load up those meals with a whole food protein source, and then add those little like Kodiak pancake sides or high protein oatmeal, high protein cereal. But those should not be your main protein source for your meal.
I agree. And now if you are going to use like oatmeal for your meal by itself, that's not going to be a substantial amount of protein.
No,
so
add some protein powder was what I would do.
Powder. Yeah. Supplement with protein powder.
Or egg whites to oatmeal is really good. Or make them savory.
Yeah, even cottage cheese. I mean, people are fucking weird with their cottage cheese. I want to do it.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, definitely. And that's a really good point too, is the protein supplementation. So many people ask us for like protein shakes, meal replacements, and meal shit and protein shakes to replace meals.
You shouldn't need that much, you guys. I honestly barely use protein powder. I do sometimes. I go through little phases if I'm having oatmeal, but it's really just a supplement.
Yeah, that's really the only time I use protein powder too, is if I'm eating oatmeal, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really I'm not a shake person, but I do like my Fairlife in my cereal, but I don't use a lot of protein powder, admittedly.
Yeah, you don't need to. It's a supplement.
I don't
fill in the
to.
void. Yeah. Because you eat meals, you're always eating.
I like to chew my meals. I like big, voluminous.
Talk about that. Chewing the meals. That's really fucking important.
Drinking my protein, it doesn't keep me as satisfied.
It won't.
Because it's not like, think about it. Is that like really desirable to drink a fucking protein shake as your meal? Is that like, no, you're going to be wanting more because that really didn't satisfy your taste buds matter too. No wonder why you're craving all the times, because you're not really eating anything that's satisfying you.
Yes. Like what happens when they have the protein shake as a meal replacement? They have the protein shake as their meal replacement. And then a few hours later, they have fucking 1,000 calories of a meal junk food because they weren't satisfied. Where just ate a real meal instead of replacing it with a stupid fucking protein shake, they would have been perfectly fine.
I think it's a lot of people just do these things to hit the protein gap. Okay. It's like, well, I haven't hit my protein goal, so I'm going to have a protein shake. It's like, stop eating shit that you don't like because you are lacking in your macronutrient tracking or whatever you call it. Focus on actually making satisfied meals and planning that shit, so you're not consistently eating things you don't want.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing more like worse than like shoving protein down because you think you have to, because you haven't hit your numbers.
Yeah, when I'm working with clients, I actually, one thing I do is I'll usually start implementing a protein shake or supplement at some point early on in the journey, just because they're struggling, because it can be a big challenge at first trying to get more protein. So then we use the supplement of protein as a bridge to get us from point A to point B until you're getting more protein into your diet consistently. All right, let's see here. And just like you said, I am a believer in 30 grams of protein per meal. At a minimum, like you said, if you break it down, it can be 25, but anything less than that, and it's not going to be ideal either. And here's why we kind of recommend that 25 to 30 as a minimum for your meals and snacks. Muscle protein synthesis. Okay. So muscle protein synthesis, it requires kind of constant amino acids and proteins to be working. So you really do, for optimal, I hate this, right? Optimal. Our listeners, they don't care about optimal and bodybuilding.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're trying to make the most out of muscle protein synthesis, you'll want to be eating some protein every couple of hours. And that's what bodybuilders do. We're not asking you all to be bodybuilders.
You guys don't need to get all cray-cray with that stuff.
You don't need to. but it is important for muscle protein synthesis. And this is where things like intermittent fasting kind of fall short, because you're depriving your body of those amino acids for so long that muscle protein synthesis isn't able to really do its thing, because you're not feeding your body. You're only giving it fucking protein maybe a couple of times a day, a couple of times in an 8-hour window versus a 24-hour window.
Yeah.
Well, not 24-hour or sleeping, but.
And you can eat more than 25 to 30 grams per meal. I hear this all the time. Someone sent me a DM the other day, was like, my RD told me not to eat more than 25 to 30 grams per meal.
Said that?
Yeah, because it turns to carbs. I was like, oh my God. I go, where did your RD go to school? Because you need to, I'm sorry.
Do a credential check on that guy.
Dude, what the fuck? So
that sounds like something from the 80s. Like that RD is not keeping up.
Crazy. Alan Aragon actually goes into detail about it in our podcast with him.
Yeah.
But your body will utilize it. It's not, what is it going to do? Shit it out? I mean, it just, what's important is your overall daily protein, not the,
and I think where that
meal to meal.
From is
where does that come from?
I think it's the muscle protein synthesis. I think people confuse optimal for MPS versus overall intake.
Gotcha.
So for muscle protein synthesis, the research shows 30 to 50 grams is all that your body can handle for muscle protein synthesis. But that's not the only thing your body needs protein for.
Right.
Your body needs protein for a lot of different metabolic purposes. Okay. So your body will use almost all of the protein that you put into it, one way or another. Your body doesn't want to use that for energy or to store it as fat. Your body wants to use it for maintaining organ health, maintaining skin health, maintaining your hair health, maintaining metabolism, all these other metabolic processes that are outside of muscle protein synthesis. So your body will absolutely use the protein that you're putting into it. I don't care if it's 100 grams in one serving. I mean, that's not ideal. I don't think nobody needs 100 grams of protein in one serving, and that would be insane if you did that. But 30 grams for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
You get 150 to 200 grams of protein. There's nothing wrong with that. Your body's going to use it in one way or another. And it doesn't get stored as fat. Protein will not get stored as fat if you consume, quote unquote, too much of it. You're not going to eat too much of it.
Right.
Because the only way to get fat, to gain body fat, is to eat an excessive amount of calories. Meaning more calories than you burn. Your calorie surplus.
Exactly.
You want to talk about some more myths about protein?
All right, let's hear them. What are some more myths about protein? The number one I hear is that you can't.
Yeah, that's the number one I hear as well.
That's the number one. I'm trying to think. That protein will fuck up your kidneys.
Yes, that's where I was going next. Yep. Kidney. Okay. Bullshit. Okay, that's bullshit. Protein by itself, if you have a normal, healthy, functioning kidney, you are safe. Okay. In healthy individuals, protein will not damage your kidney. If you have kidney issues, it could certainly make things worse, but that's when you consult with your medical professional and not us.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, the plant protein one, some people will say plant proteins are a waste and things like that. We've already covered that. They're not a waste. You just have to be
not a waste.
Not a waste.
Right.
So if you're eating that very diet, you'll get the amino acids. And really, your body already has the amino acids kind of in your body flowing around and ready to use. So if the plant protein that you're eating is incomplete, you might already have the amino acids in your body to make that a complete profile anyway. So, okay, so talking about protein powder foods, I want to talk about some poor protein sources as well, because these are popular ones, right? So we already talked about protein or a peanut butter. We that's a big one. Peanut butter is not a protein source.
Yeah.
Some other shitty protein sources, I will just go ahead and throw this out there. Fried meat is not a good protein source.
Fried meat.
Yeah, like deep fried food, fried chicken and things like that. It's protein, sure, but it's fried. There's fats, there's carbs and things like that.
Not ideal.
On occasion, sure, do that, but I don't want you to be making up your entire diet out of fried foods, fried meat. Yeah.
I'd say those fucking cookies, like a lot of the shitty protein bars. You got to find a good one. Some of them are just like glorified candy bars. You might as well have a fucking Snickers.
This is a really good segue. Let's talk about this and the nutrition aspect of it, the nutrition label aspect of it. Then,
yeah, it's a lot of it's marketing.
Yes, you can slap a protein label on anything. There's no guidance there. You can do whatever the fuck you want with your packaging, really, for the most part. That's why we see these protein cookies that say 10 grams of protein, but then
for half a fucking cookie.
Right. Look at the fine print.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Half a cookie. So you're getting 10 grams of protein for 210 calories. So to get that full protein that they're advertising, because the protein that they're advertising is for the entire cookie. So this is where it gets deceiving, because the entire cookie. But then if you look at the label, they show
2 servings,
half a cookie, 2 servings. So it's very deceiving. It's very deceiving.
Yeah.
The supplement industry is notoriously scummy.
I think a good way to see if something is a good amount of protein is if you add a 0 to the protein, right? Let's say it says 10 grams of protein, you add a 0, it's 100, right? But then you look at the calories. If the calories are 250, it's not a good source of protein. That's a good indication of a protein source. Let's say chicken is 120 calories and 20 grams of protein. You add a 0, that's 200, and then you got the 120. So the 200 is over the 120, and that makes it a good protein source.
I like that. You could kind of look at it too, as if you look at the label, and this is one of the things I do when I'm searching for protein bars, just look at the macros. If protein's the biggest macro, it's probably safe to say that it's a decent bar or supplement or whatever. Because that kind of falls in line with what you were just describing there, I think.
When the world feels crazy and chaotic, remember that you don't have to. You deserve to take control of your mental and physical health, and Cured Nutrition is trying to make it easier for you to do exactly that. Cured wants you to feel good about feeling good, so they took their time formulating their Serenity Gummies. They left out the artificial flavors, sugars, and dyes, and replaced them with ingredients that actually live up to their wellnessy word. Finding calm in this fast-paced world can be very challenging. That's why I use and love the Serenity Gummies. They help to provide a physical, mental, and emotional sense of calm in everyday life. I personally like to take them before a long day of calls and meetings. The Serenity Gummies bring me to a happy place, and they prepare me for the day's challenges, while also helping me to serve others to the best of my ability by providing a sense of peace and calmness in my body and mind. Right now, Cured is extending an exclusive offer to you, our listeners. You can grab a bag of Serenity Gummies for 20% off by visiting www.curednutrition.com/CTC and using coupon code CTC at checkout. That's CURED nutrition.com/CTC and coupon code CTC at the checkout to save 20%. Protect your peace, pop a gummy.
The 0 next to the protein grams that number should not override the calories.
Right.
Override the calories. Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be over at. Yeah, for sure.
Fucking
And
confusing myself.
Let's talk about protein bars a little bit more, because we love our protein bars for sure, but I don't eat a lot of them. I don't know about you, Beth.
I only carry them with me in case of an emergency, and that's when I'm traveling or we're hiking.
Right. That's really about it for me as well. If I'm on the road, I'll buy protein bars from a gas station if I'm going, running around being chauffeur for my son or something like that. Yeah. But that's really it, because really, while having a high protein diet is important, we don't want you to obsess about it. Okay, we don't want you to go for a shitty Fit Crunch bar. I don't like Fit Crunch bars. Those are enough calories to make an entire fucking meal, in my opinion. You could have the Snickers and then a protein shake. You'll have more protein and less calories. So some of these protein bars are an entire ass meal, and they're not even giving you a lot of protein anyway. You can get the real candy that you're actually craving and supplement with some protein, and you're still going to be better off than that shitty protein bar that wasn't actually a protein bar at all. Yeah. It's just, bunch of sugar. It really is what a lot of those are, or fake sugar. And not saying that to say fake sugar is bad or anything, but come on, if we want protein, let's eat some real protein here. Another myth about protein is that anabolic window, right? After strength training, you need to have 30 minutes of your workout, or your workout was fucked and you just wasted it, right? No. Yeah. Should you eat protein after your workout? Yeah, try to get in, whenever you can after your workout. What's really more important for post-workout is restoring your glycogen storage. So getting some carbohydrates into your diet, because you just depleted all of the glycogen in your body with that intense workout that you just did. So you want to refill those stores pretty quickly there. But protein, especially if you're eating protein consistently throughout the day and you're meeting your daily protein goal, you don't need to worry about hitting that 30-minute window because that's largely bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What about cooking with protein? This might be something that you want to speak on. Like, what are some of your ways to kind of cook with protein? Like, let's talk about grilling versus baking versus frying versus boiling.
I like crock pot or Instant Pot my chicken a lot, like to make it shredded, baked or grilled. I'm not a fryer. Air frying is always good too.
Yeah, I do love a good air fryer. Sure.
Mm-hmm. But I'm a griller or Instant Pot or top of my stove kind of person.
I've been using my Instant Pot more. I was going through my collection of books yesterday and I found a cookbook it was an Instant Pot cookbook. I was like, where the hell did this come from?
Oh, nice.
So guess what? I'm going to be cooking shit in my Instant Pot all the time. I'm
perfect.
Excited. Yeah, for sure. So really then the priority of protein should be when you're building your meals, building that balanced meal.
Mm-hmm.
We take our protein and build our meal around that protein, identify what protein you want, and then build your meal around that. If you want fish, pick some vegetables and some carbohydrates that kind of complement that fish that you enjoy.
Yeah. Base all your meals off the protein source first.
Exactly. That's what you want to do when you're looking to increase your protein. Mm-hmm. Identify protein, build it around there, and then the rest will kind of fall in place there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now protein. Let's talk about what we have to offer for some help with people. Is there any actually before we get to that point? Did we miss anything in the protein Bible that we want to talk about?
I feel like we talked about everything.
Everything, honestly, that really is
that's necessary. Yeah.
There's a lot of other stuff we could
don't
talk
let this
about.
overwhelm you guys. This is just to give you extra information. We already talk about all this stuff in our videos consistently, constantly. Yeah. So this is just if you want to like resource back in one place, here you go.
Because here's the thing, we are gonna next time you guys ask us a question about protein, go listen.
I'm gonna refer you back to this podcast.
We will. So it's helping us too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So because people don't know, or they just don't have the time to build protein meals and things like that, we have something cool in our Patreon for people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do we have in our Patreon, Beth, that can help people with getting more protein?
Well, we have a recipe portal called Now We're Cooking with Chef Richard, and we have it's over 100 high protein, low calorie recipes.
It's a lot higher than that now.
It's probably be in the 200s now, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But there's tons, desserts, main dishes, family friendly. You can't go wrong for $10 a month. And then you get monthly workouts and monthly challenges with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you don't know where to start with your workouts, this is a great place to go to for super cheap because fitness should be for everyone, and take your program to the gym. Stop trying to make up your own shit, you guys. I have so many people ask me, so should I pair this with this? What should I do? Follow a plan. Follow a fucking plan. Stop winging that shit, So monthly workouts, recipes, and monthly challenges.
Yeah, and I'm going to give a shout out to Nikki, actually, because Nikki posted in our Facebook group for our Patreon members about how awesome the November workouts were, because she completed the first 4 of them. So we love the feedback that our patrons do provide us with the workouts. And our members love the workouts, guys.
Yeah. Amy's crushing it too.
Amy. Yeah, for sure. Everybody's crushing it that's following along with those workouts. And we've been doing those for over a year, almost 2 years now, coming up 2 years in April, I think. Yeah. So I love the recipe portal. A lot of the recipes that you and I have done together on TikTok videos and Reels and things like that were straight from our Patreon, right? So we have things like the chili. We did a barbecue day, right? We did that. And we've got the desserts. Of course, that's not going to be a protein option. Sometimes they are, because sometimes we do make them protein, but they're the lower calorie options too. So the recipe portal isn't just for the high protein options, it's for lower calorie options as well. And here's the most important thing about the meals is they actually taste good.
Yeah, they're good.
Your kids are actually going to eat them because you're using real foods, and these are meals that are fucking staples. They're comfort food meals, a lot of them. So I know there's pizza in there, there's mac and cheese, there's pasta, there's all kinds of shit in there that your kids will like, and they're not difficult to make either. Anybody can follow these recipes.
Easy. We just made the other day, these are going in the portal, some Thanksgiving egg rolls. in the air fryer.
God,
so they had stuffing, cranberry sauce to dip, mashed potatoes, and turkey. We rolled them up in the egg rolls, sprayed them with a little spray, and put them in the air fryer. Delicious.
Oh, the air fryer. That sounds.
So those should be in the portal, if not now, soon.
That sounds incredible. It sounds incredible. The Now We're Cooking team is incredible that we're partnered up with, and they release new recipes every week. There are new recipes.
3, I think, every Wednesday.
So great resource there, guys. Even if you do know how to get more protein in, you're just looking for some fresh ideas, we've got you covered. Like Beth said, we've probably got over 200 of them at this point in the portal. And here's the thing, you're not going to see this anywhere else. Nobody else has this. Nobody else is providing something like this. I mean, I shouldn't say that. This particular recipe portal, I'm not aware of anybody that has anything like this, but there's people like Zach Cohen, of course, which his meal prep Patreon is incredible.
Our clients have access to it too. So if you're with Team BFF or with Fit Fat Training, you will have access to these recipes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. What else do we want to talk about?
I don't fucking know. I think we're done with protein. I'm over it. I'm just messing around, but I'm not.
That's just how we roll. No, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm done with the protein. We're good. I don't think we need to beat over a dead horse anymore. Protein, fucking protein. Stop fighting the protein. That's what I got to tell you, because you're doing nothing for yourself by fighting it. It's like you catastrophize protein before you even try to fucking get it in your diet. It's like not a daunting thing, you guys. Okay, just think of it like it's only benefiting you a million times over.
Yeah, and if there's nothing else you take away from this, guys, if you are struggling with overeating at night and mindless snacking throughout the day, increase your protein and you will be amazed by how things change for you.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
I think that's it. That was pretty awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to actually drop a protein PDF in our show notes, so stay tuned for that. So you will have a list of protein to take with you wherever the fuck you go.
There you go.
Print it out, put it on your fridge. You'll never not know what protein source to choose from.
There's no excuses now. We just gave you everything you need.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
All right. We'll see ya.
Bye. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So why not share with a friend who needs to hear it? Send us a DM on Instagram or email us at cutthecrappod@gmail.com and join our Patreon at patreon.com/cutthecrappodcast. As always, we appreciate you and thanks for being here.